Canada's battle against tariffs from the Trump administration is seemingly far from over. Despite Justin Trudeau's attempt to mitigate the harsh economic measures, the president announced yesterday he had intentions of imposing import taxes on all steel and aluminum entering the country, including from Canada. And earlier this evening, he signed the executive order.
Our nation requires steel and aluminum to be made in America, not in foreign lands. We need to create, in order to protect our country's future, a resurgence of U.S. manufacturing and production, the likes of which has not been seen for many decades. It's time for our great industries to come back to America. I want them back to America. This is the first of many, and you know what I mean by that. We're going to be doing others on other subjects, topics.
Tessa Bennett joins us in studio with the latest. Tessa, what details do we have on this plan?
Manisa, so far, Trump has said the tariffs on steel and aluminum will be set at 25% and has canceled exemptions and duty-free quotas for major suppliers, including Canada, Mexico, and Brazil. This is the latest move in his administration's trade policy overhaul.
Any steel coming into the United States is going to have a 25% tariff.
What about aluminum, sir?
Aluminum, too.
A major industry in Canada and the rest of the world is once again bracing for impact after President Trump announced more tariffs on Sunday. Ahead of his appearance at the Super Bowl in New Orleans, Trump announced his intentions to impose 25% tariffs on all aluminum and steel making its way into the United States. He did not go into any further detail about how broad these import taxes would be or when they might go into effect, but it was enough to send the metal industry into a tailspin. These two materials are vital components of numerous industries, such as transportation and construction.
The biggest consumer of steel is automotive, second to construction, automotive. And, Trump did this last time in 2018, and we saw impacts within a week or so. It's so integrated.
As economist Peter Warrian from the University of Toronto noted, the supply chain in the steel industry is complex, so clarification about how these tariffs would be implemented is vital.
But it's also complicated because a sheet of steel can come off Stelco or Dofasco, and it can go back and forth across the border 4 or 5 times before it lands in a car.
In response to the proposed economic measures, the president and CEO of the Canadian Steel Producers Association released a statement saying in part, "We are deeply concerned that U.S. President Donald Trump is again threatening more tariffs on Canada, this time directly targeting the steel and aluminum sectors." The message added the $20 billion worth of steel trade between Canada and the States is an example of just how integrated the two economies are.
To some degree, we want to see what friends we can assemble, because if you have a global steel trade war, which is what we're in danger of, then you have to get some sort of new international rules.
Brazil and Mexico, who are two of the top shippers of steel to the States, say they will wait and see what the president does before reacting. This act is nothing new to Canada. Trump initially imposed levies on steel and aluminum imports at 25% and 10% respectively during his first term in office. And in the few weeks since he has returned to the White House, Trump has gone back and forth on the idea of imposing tariffs on Canada numerous times. Last week, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau had several calls with Trump after the president's blanket 25% tariffs were set to go into effect on Tuesday. The country managed to stave those measures off until March. And heavy tolls are not the only threats facing Canada right now. Both Trump and Trudeau have made it clear the United States has intentions of annexing the country. Trudeau was caught in a hot mic moment last week, saying Trump's idea to make Canada its 51st state is a real thing, with Trump confirming this over the weekend in an interview with Fox News.
The Prime Minister said this weekend to a group of Canadian businessmen, he was at a private meeting, he said that your wish for Canada to be the 51st state is a, quote, real thing. Is it a real thing?
Yeah, it is. I think Canada would be much better off being a 51st state.
While signing this order, the president once again suggested Canada become the 51st state to avoid tariffs. He also said he would be announcing reciprocal tariffs on countries that impose levies on U.S. products later this week.